The Shy and Mighty podcast is on a softly spoken mission to help shy people be more mighty. Shy people don't need fixing. We don't need to change who we are. But in a world filled with noise and hot air, it's time for us to speak up and stop hiding.
Hello and welcome to Shy and Mighty with me, Nadia Finer. And today I'm joined by my very good friend and special guest, Kathy Stowell, who's here with us to talk about shyness and a little bit about her business and a bit about her daughter and her journey through shyness as well. So welcome to the show, Kathy.
Thank you for having me, Nadia. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. So, well, firstly, I'm going to attempt to be sensible for the whole of our discussion. Because sometimes our chats do tend to get a little bit random. We also both share, I would say, an interesting sense of humour. So we're going to try and be well behaved, mainly because we don't want this to become like some sort of explicit rated podcast with bad jokes. So we're going to be on our best behaviour, hopefully. So let's start off by talking about the work you do as a coach. So do you want to tell us a bit about it and how you got into coaching?
Sure. I teach mums how to coach other mums to what I call Mama Bliss. So how perfect that we are going to touch upon my daughter and her shyness and raising a shy girl too, because she was obviously the catalyst to my Mama Bliss, my firstborn. And yeah, my work all began when I began blogging, when I was a young mom, and documenting what it was like to, step into the parenting journey while also stepping into the hobby farming adventure that my husband and I embarked upon almost 15 years ago. And pretty much decided I loved connecting with other moms all over the world, and I was trying to figure out ways I can connect with them on a deeper level. And after a couple of entrepreneurial stints, such as selling clothes I was making on Etsy and yarn I was spinning and creating e-courses that was teaching them how to sew clothes and spin yarn, I decided to become a creativity coach, because I felt that was my secret sauce to what I call my Mama Bliss, which is essentially just nurturing myself before I can nurture my kids, so that I can really find a peaceful center within and create the space and energy to go for my own goals and dreams outside of being a mom. And that's what I've been doing since, coaching moms. And then it turned into teaching them how to coach moms, because that seems to be a dream of many of the moms I connect with too.
I really love the idea that mums need to look after themselves as well as their kids. It seems to be something that we struggle with often. Yeah. And that it's easy to maybe put your own dreams and plans to one side. And then, then the kids are suddenly grown up and you're left going, oh, what about me? What about my life? What happened? So, yeah, it does seem to, it's definitely something I understand why you do it, and I can see why it's popular with so many people. Now, I feel like we also need to say a little bit about where you're from, because obviously I've got my very British accent and your accent is not, it's not necessarily an accent that we hear every day.
It's like a non-accent at all.
No,
it's neutral.
It's completely neutral. So, but I love the fact that you're like in the mountains, aren't you? In British Columbia. So tell us a bit about that.
Oh, it's so beautiful right now. Just when you were talking, I was gazing at said mountains, and they're so pretty right now. It's fall here at the time of the recording, and it's just breathtaking, the colors. So yes, we are 8 hours away from both major cities that are closest to us. And so we're very off the beaten path. And I just feel like this town is just this delightfully well-kept secret, hopefully. It's very small.
Don't tell us.
I know, and I keep gushing about it. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm not keeping this secret very well, but I'm like seriously smitten by where I live. And to me, it's heaven on earth. Like, I rarely go on holidays because I don't like to stray too far from here, but it's definitely a fun little hippie town kind of. I describe it as like the Portland of Canada. So kind of a lot of eccentric types, a lot of back to the landers and creatives and earthy people. Yet for a city the size of it is, it's only 10,000 of us here. It has the greatest per capita of restaurants. So there's not a lack of places to eat. I love food. I love good coffee. And so, yeah, I'm pretty much in heaven here.
It sounds awesome. And we were lucky enough to hang out. It was about a year ago when I came to Kelowna, and we got to chill together and attend a big event, and it was super fun. So
it was a dream come true.
Yeah, it was really cool for me. Well, I ventured so far, halfway across the world, and you had to get in the car and drive a little way.
Yeah, just 4 hours, but it's so worth it. I often tell my friends how I got to meet you, and I was like, it was so serendipitous, and that whole week was such an amazing gift. So very grateful for that.
Yeah, I loved it too. It was brilliant. And, for me, it's really important as a shy person to push myself to go to events, to leave my hometown and my home office occasionally and go to other places. Now, living in the mountains as you do, and like you said, it's this perfect environment. You've got all these restaurants. You've got everything that you need. Do you think that makes it almost tempting to become kind of reclusive in a way when you live somewhere like that and not leave the boundaries of your comfort zone?
Yeah, maybe that's part of it. Yeah, you're right. Well, before we moved here, we lived 45 minutes. So we lived in an even smaller town, like maybe 300 people from here. And that was definitely the case, especially to the locals. So there was a lot of hermity types and
hermity types.
Yes. Yeah. People who really kept to themselves. And if they did branch out to socialize, it was very cliquey. It's also like the pot growing capital of Canada. So it was a lot of paranoia, and it was really hard to kind of get in there. So I felt shy trying to get in with some of these circles because, it took a long time for people to warm up and trust you and to kind of get in there. So my son was actually born out there in the sticks, and I did not leave the house. For 40 days. I was like, I'm not. Yeah. He was born at home. I was telling everyone, it's a tradition in some cultures, they have this ground touching ceremony, 40 days. And so the timing was perfect that when 40 days after he was born, my friend was having a Christmas party. And I'm like, okay, this will be his big coming out party. And stepped outside with him on day 40. And it was a big snowstorm with these really big fat snowflakes, hitting his sweet little pure face. And I'm like, nope, too much snow. So I went back inside for another 10 days. And my next door neighbor was like saying to my husband, that just ain't right. He thought I was just being a little too reclusive. So I think it was very easy, especially out there. So I don't know if it's me coming out of that season. I feel that I don't know what was going on, almost like a touch of postpartum something, because I just was really leaning, like you were saying, the comfort of our home. We had a straw bale house that was uber hot. I had a wood fire burning 24/7. I just wanted it to be like I was regressing back into the womb.
Like
it was interesting. Yeah, it was heavy nesting. Yeah. And so we moved here to our booming metropolis of Nelson, BC, of 10 grand. I don't know if it's because I'm in a different season, my motherhood, if I was able to come out of that labyrinth and, a lot of stuff was coming up, but I'm feeling much more social and outgoing. And I do work from home, so pretty much I don't really leave here unless I'm going to the grocery store to a yoga class or something. But just saying that when I do leave, it's still small enough that I see people I know, and it's almost an unspoken rule here that like you kind of do the nod thing because they're like, yeah, I'm sure I'll see you in a couple more days. So,
yeah, in 3 weeks. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's love it.
Although I'm shy, I need to leave the house. Like I have to at least walk the dog.
Oh yeah, I do that.
Get out and about. Otherwise, I'll go a bit mental. Like kind of feel like I'm climbing the walls. So I think that's really interesting how our environment and our, I suppose, habitat can have an impact on how we feel about being around other people. And you mentioned that you work from home and most of your business is conducted online, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about navigating the world of, say, social media, the online world, in order to grow your business? Because it's something I've seen push buttons for a lot of people in terms of, like, in inverted commas, visibility and putting yourself out there. So how do you handle that?
Sure. I try to take my own advice. So I coach a lot of moms who are newly established with coaching tools to help moms with self-care, etc. And I tell them from the very beginning, even in my sales page for the program, that more than half of your time is going to be spent putting the word out there that this is what you do. So you have to get comfortable with putting yourself out there as a coach. And I just lean on almost like my background. I actually have a background too as a yoga teacher. So just breathing through the discomfort and knowing that each time I push my comfort zone a little bit, it's just going to get that much easier the next time. But, it's not always easy if I'm feeling a little wobbly, like we just got another puppy. I'm a little sleep deprived. That's probably why my voice sounds a little crackly. But if I'm feeling off, a little tired or under the weather or just having a poopy day and I notice that the shyness factor crops back up. I second guess myself and the discomfort is almost, that much more amplified. But just remembering that there is a reason. There are moms out there who need to be inspired to go for their dreams. I need to let them know that this training is available for them. Then that kind of gets me a little bit over myself. Another thing that helps me, I saw a meme or something that it really touched my heart because I'm only human and there are some posts I see where I feel that, oh, geez, that person sure posts a lot of selfies with, at a certain angle with a certain kind of posture, or they're sure, mentioning their MLM a lot or whatever. And just that little kind of judgy voice inside my head starts to speak. I saw a meme where it was a beautiful reframe of that, saying, next time you catch yourself doing that, judging someone, doing a lot of selfies, instead think, this is how beautiful of her to feel so confident in her skin and, shining her inner beauty out, to share that with the world, to inspire others to see the beauty within themselves. Or, isn't that reframing it, like the MLM, isn't that beautiful that they are so passionate about this product that they use in their day-to-day that they want to share it with their friends and spread the word? And so that is a good reframe for me, just knowing that deep in my heart, my intention to get out on social media in terms of to spread the word about my business is to think of the greater good, that my intention is coming from a good place. So even though it's uncomfortable, knowing that it's going to hopefully inspire others and it's coming from a well-intentioned place. So that usually helps me get over the hump, remembering that.
Oh, I love that. The idea of thinking about your purpose and your why to drive you forward. And also now I'm always going to think of comfort zones as some kind of yogic exercise.
Yeah.
It's like a stretch. So you can't touch your toes. Well, I definitely can't. Unless I'm like totally bent my legs. And eventually, if I keep pushing, then I will be able to one day. So it's just keeping on pushing and pushing and stretching until it feels comfortable. So it's kind of, I feel like that's almost not just visual, but we could also do that as a way of reminding ourselves that things are possible when you keep practicing.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about your daughter, because we've chatted quite a few times on Zoom calls, and your daughter's seen me and heard my beautiful British accent. I know that, you know, as a mum raising a daughter who is shy, that's obviously got its moments and fun times and interesting challenges. So do you want to tell us a bit about your daughter? And obviously we're mindful of her privacy.
Yes.
So we are
Totally.
Obviously she's going to be like, Mom, for God's sake, what are you talking about me on a podcast for? We have got her permission, but we shall be referring to her as your daughter. And I'm interested to understand what it's like from your point of view as a mum, because my son, he's not shy in the slightest.
So
we
cute.
have maybe the other end of the spectrum. So, I'm really interested to hear what it's like from your point of view and how you handle her shyness.
Well, it's so funny because we were talking about keeping her anonymous. And just when you were first talking, I'm like, well, I'm going to share how her name actually, and I don't Google this, means, the meaning of it is little treasure. Don't Google.
No, we're not Googling.
Okay, no Googling allowed. So it always tickles me because I feel that because of her shyness, it's hard to see what I see in her. And it's so funny and weird, but when I talk about her, I often get very emotional and I just love her so much. And I think she's so neat. And I tell her that like 10 times a day. I'm like, you are so cool. You're so fun to hang out with, because she's like one of the funniest, see, I'm getting all like choked up. Kindest, wisest soul. So it was almost like from the moment she was born, she rarely cried as a baby. She was just the easiest kid ever. And she just observed. She just had these big green eyes, and she just was like this little Buddha. She was super chubby and just this little blob, and just like looked. And I remember once I took her to the doctor, and the doctor had something wrong with her lip. The doctor had stitches on her lip. She had to get something removed or something, but it looked kind of like nasty. It was just kind of like a spider, like, and all the stitches were sticking out. And Edie must have only been like about like 9 months old or something. And she kind of like looked at her and almost like reached out to her lip and touched her face. And the doctor was just like, oh my God, she's so like compassionate or something. It was just like an example of how she's just so like gentle and kind, you know? And same thing, it's like, she was just so easy. I told my husband, I'm like, yep, I'm fine with just having one kid. Like, I'm good. But like, I did it. I just like, we couldn't luck out, right? With another easy kid. And then my son came along, and just like you, Liz, he sounds like your son, like just the complete opposite. Not like, but just very outgoing, not shy at all. It's so funny because when people meet my husband, we're kind of two ends of the scale in that regards as well. Like, I'm way more outgoing, and my husband too some would consider him quite shy, a little bit more reserved and quiet. So it's like, you know, little treasure has his personality, and my son kind of is more like me. So it's just kind of cute. But growing up, it was challenging in the respects, because we were in that little stick town with 300 people. And the challenging part for me was protecting her from almost like people's expectations on how she should be. And a couple of times, oh my God, my mama bear got poked because I felt very protective of her in terms of I didn't want to rush her in any regards. She was also very, not super delayed by any means, but she took her time. She's an observer. She's careful. And she didn't start walking until her first birthday. And I remember that my in-laws would say stuff like, well, maybe she should go see a physical therapist because she's just lying there like the...
Isn't that when all children start walking?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And I was just like, well,
you're like, back off.
A teenager. Like, yeah, maybe I want to take her to this. But no, I'm not too concerned about this, but thanks for bringing that up, right?
Yeah.
But I would have locals, like, so when we would go to the grocery store in that teeny tiny town, everyone, that was like a daily thing almost, because I like to pretend I'm a, babushka, Russian babushka going to market, and I like to go to the grocery store every day, squeezing what's fresh, right? And so I would always, she came where I went, like she was my little sidekick. And the cashiers, this teeny tiny little grocery store, would be like trying to crack a smile out of her. And I think once she smiled because there was like a huge party. I think confetti came from the ceiling of the grocery store. I got like super excited. And I'm like, yeah, she's a really tough nut to crack. After a while, I'm like, yeah, don't even bother. It's, she's just shy, right? But then after, I remember when I remember a couple of times, twice it actually, no, 3 times it happened. Like, for instance, this one local, like again, Hippie Central, this guy we knew, he was really into making flower essences. And we're at the restaurant in that little town, and he came up. He's like, oh, hey, I was meditating on your daughter, and I came up with a remedy for her condition. I can't remember the word he used. Oh. Yeah. Oh my God. I was just like, you got her a remedy at this time, I think, for being a 4-year-old. Awesome.
Oh my word.
I was really just so annoyed. And then this other time, it was really interesting. There's this woman who I thought was a wise elder in our community. And I was really a big fan of hers until she said took it personal that my daughter wouldn't engage with her in a way she expected. She's like, what's up? I feel like, does she not, oh yeah, she said that, does she not like me? Like, she doesn't say anything back to me. I'm like, and I think I said something, you know what? She's not here for your entertainment, for you to stroke your ego. Like, I just was really surprised that I kind of had to talk to this woman I really admired. I was really surprised that she would say something like that. Like, I thought you were more advanced than that, dude.
It's unbelievable to me. It seems it's very insensitive. And do you know what it really reminds me of? There's a thing, I don't know if it happens all over the world, but in England, if you walk down the street as a woman with I'm not saying resting bitch face, I'm just saying just without a massive grin on your face. Yeah. Some guy will say to you, cheer up, love,
Yeah.
So it's that kind of commenting on a person, which I feel it's a bit much. Well, I'm really happy that you were there to stand up for her.
Yeah.
How have you handled her shyness as she's got older? Has it affected her at school?
Well, it's kind of not in a bad way. I think as she has grown into her own person, there has been an unfolding that has been so beautiful to witness. And so we moved into town, and she goes to this school here. It's a Waldorf school, so they get the same teacher through the whole journey. And so it was really just such a beautiful thing to almost have a co-parent in that regards, because her teacher knew her so that intimately, and she got to witness too. It was so okay. So here is the thing. She constantly surprised me in this journey. For instance, we were homeschooling her using a Waldorf curriculum. And so she was doing this enrichment program for homeschoolers using a Waldorf kind of approach. And so it was just like, once a week they would meet and they would, play the recorder and fingernet cases for the recorder. A local friend who's also a dance teacher, she invited these little, we call them Waldorf, little Waldorf kids to participate in this performance in the local auditorium. So it's like a theater that seats like 300 people. And they're like, yeah, let's have like the little Waldorfy kids, there's 6 of them from this enrichment program perform, with this dance thing. And I was worried. I was all like, oh my God, I don't know if she'd be into it.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I'm like, you don't have to, if this is outside of your comfort zone. Here's that word again. And she goes, I'm not afraid. I'm like, oh, okay, very good.
Yes.
And it's true. Like, I just love that. I love so many times since then, she has gone on stage and blown everyone out of the water with her performances. Wow. She performed in a Midsummer's Night's Dream performance with her class, and she had the role of Helena. Everyone, so we watched it twice. They performed it twice, and everyone, wherever they were seating, were looking towards me. And if I caught eyes with someone, they just would mouth, oh my God, because she is like, the students were all basically just regurgitating their scripts, but she got into character. She was talking loud. She had the facial expressions. She had the hand gesture. It was just like, I told people after that I was so proud that all the blood drained from my head down to my heart. I thought God. I was going to pass out. And then this lady behind me, she's like, oh my God, who's that little girl? She's amazing. And I turned my head like, that's my daughter. So she's like an amazing, amazing actress. So I have to say, it's just really cool to have people who knew her over the years to see that. Because I was like, yeah, that's my little treasure. That is what I'm so blessed to be privy to. Even though everyone's like, oh, she's shy, it's like, yeah.
That's
once you get to know her,
beautiful.
she's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
It was amazing.
Do you think, have there been particular things that you've done or tried that have helped her to get to that point, to be able to blossom in that way, to go from being, so quiet and reserved and shy, to be able to perform on stage like that? Do you think, were there any kind of techniques or things that you worked on in particular?
Well, I think part of it, not to toot my horn too much, but
I was going to say, is it just amazing parenting?
I know it is. No, I think it was just being her advocate, like that. I think that was helpful. Really, I did get a lot of slack, so even I got slack even before we had kids. So my husband and I, we did everything kind of unconventionally in some respects. Like, our wedding was really just kind of out there. Like, we had like a 3-day rave party. We had our friends married us. And then, just moving from the city to start a hobby farm and, the whole unconventional home birthing and other parenting choices that aren't very super mainstream, then homeschooling. And then I remember my mom just being like, she's got this really thick Spanish accent. People are often, when I do my mom, they're like, oh, is she a pirate? I'm like, no, she's Peruvian. But she's just like, Gatti, sometimes I feel you do things different for the sake of doing things different. And I'm like, no, it's because I tap into what are the options here. So with her, I just really wanted to go with my cravings, and my cravings with her, and it was different with my son actually, but with her, it was very attachment parenting style. Like I was saying, she was like my little sidekick. We co-slept for a long time. And, I just kind of sensed with her to keep her close, even though it was hard to basically shake her off my leg. I wrote a blog post once, and there was literally a picture of her sitting under my skirt. You just see her feet sticking out. It's like, that was her when we went to party. She would just hide up my skirt. I know it's kind of weird,
Oh, we have to put that picture on the...
Yes, I will share. Yeah, it's perfect. So you don't see her face, obviously, just your cute, chubby little feet.
That's so cute. I think that your approach has been perfect, though, because it's clearly given her the trust and the support and the strength to be able to be her own person, to be able to like you said, unfurl like a blossom, so that when she's ready, she can step forward and onto the stage. I mean, that literally gives me goosebumps. That she's able to do that. I think it's an amazing thing that you've done, and you know it also goes to show that I can't do an impression of your mum. I'm not even going to try.
Sure,
but I feel like no. But I think that the unconventional way has helped, because you know, when you're in mainstream education, you don't get that level of support and nurturing that you have been able to give her, and I think that's been an amazing gift, really, that she's been able to benefit from, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And I love the way that you talk about her, and it's not, you know, it's clear to me that it being shy, it's not. I know I talk about kind of things that people can do to move past the challenges of it, but it's a gift in a lot of ways.
Yes, absolutely.
It's part of who we are, and I feel like, you know, maybe it does take us longer, but we're busy observing things and, you know, waiting for the right time to come into our own. So I just found that so inspiring to hear about, and I'm hoping maybe one day I shall be able to persuade her to come and chat to me on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll feel her out for sure.
She's probably going to say no, but it's an idea.
I know chances are slim, but I could just massage her. But she reminds me a lot of you too, because you know what else she's really into is Taekwondo.
Oh my God.
She goes like twice a week, and she's in tournaments and stuff. It's just so neat. It's just, I love people like that. They're just so like surprising and
but it's not a coincidence, actually. I'm seeing a trend where there's you know, that you can start to spot patterns, and I think there are a lot of shy people who find joy in performing, because arguably you are pretending to be someone else, and that's quite freeing in a lot of ways. And also in fight sports, I think it gives you power and strength, and it helps you to uncover a side of yourself that, you know, most people maybe don't see. So cool. I think, you know, I love also the fact that it's such a shock for people when they know how quiet you are, that you're actually a total badass.
Oh, yeah. And she's tiny, too, for her age. Like, she looks really young for her age. So it's just this little delicate thing. But, oh, my God, her kicks, look out, fast and high.
Well, she is definitely shy and mighty. So I think...
I know.
I'm so happy that you came on the show and that you've shared your experiences and your daughter's story as well. And I think
it's my honor.
Going to touch a lot of people's hearts. And I really appreciate you spending the time. So thank you, Kathy. Yay!
Well, thank you. It was fun.
Well, we'll see you all soon with another episode of Shy and Mighty. In your earbuds very soon. Bye then. Thank you, Kathy. That was so cool. And I feel like we could have talked.
Oh, I know. I had like so many other things. Because in that play she was in, one of her lines was actually, though she be but little, she is fierce.
Oh,
you know?
I love that. Let's just quickly say that and we'll bung it on at the end. Okay, so does your daughter have any special mantras?
Well, funny enough, the Christmas after she did that play, one of her lines in the play was, though she be but little, she is fierce. And I actually went on Etsy and I found a printout and I got it framed. So now that's actually hanging in her bedroom above her bed, and it's just really pretty. And I just love that was one of her lines in the play, because it just, I think, really resonates with her journey.
Shakespeare is awesome in that respect because I love that line, and I've got badges, I've got posters, I've got all the stuff with that on because that really resonates.
You got flair.
I've got the stuff, I've got the merch. We've got the merch because we're Shy and Mighty. Well, thank you so much, Kathy. We will talk again very soon.
The Shy and Mighty Society is a safe place for shy people to shine. Learn specific techniques to help you improve your confidence and overcome limiting beliefs. Make quiet connections with people just like you. Coaching, support, and encouragement to coax you out of the shadows and help you reach your goals. Head over to shineandmighty.com to find out more.